Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael and I have Sunil in the background. This is a market recap of the stock market in the US, specifically for week ending July 12th, 2024. So this week we saw a huge rotation happening. Some people argue, whether we are rotating from a lot of the tech area like Magnificent 7 and also the chips area, and whether they are rotating money into small caps and mid caps, or whether they're going to have new money going to the small mid caps, which been lagging the general indexes. So yeah, we'll dive more into this. We also see a lot of improvement in stock market breadth, which is something we haven't seen in a long time. So for someone like me who's more diversified, it definitely helped. And so I'm fully engaged in this market right now and trying to find the next leaders. So that, yeah, because when there's a narrow market, you're really more concentrated. Either really the last 6 months been all focused on chips and Magnificent 7. Those are the biggest area of price performance. So the other thing that's happening going forward is we have lots of stocks reporting earnings, and so it's important to maybe even raise a little bit of cash just in case you have some stocks maybe that can outperform. You can buy into those stocks, stuff like that. So let's start a recap from Monday. Again, we have semiconductors lead, but then the enterprise software start to fade. Yeah, so the Nasdaq was still doing okay. It's fourth close in a row above 18,000. SMCI up 7%, but then ServiceNow was downgraded and it dropped. So let's look at those two stocks right away here. SMCI kind of represent the chip area, and you can see right here there's I'm going to take off some of my markups here just so it's easier to read. So here we have this Monday move here. It bounced back a little bit. So some people are talking about how tight this is right now, which is a really good setup. But it's still kind of in a downtrend mode right now. So we want to be aware of this downtrend and see if it can climb above. You can see it's getting close to it now on that trend line. But again, because SMCI is in the chip area and it has been underperforming, right, compared to the other chip stocks. So I don't know if I would place a lot of emphasis on that 1 day jump, but it has been holding since that day's jump. So, but some people is alluding to this tight area right here, because it hasn't really done that too much. But I guess not that tight anyway. So anyhow, so that's just one stock that was up that day. Then we have Now, which was downgraded again due to some AI revenue not possibly coming anytime soon, and so this Monday drop was significant here, and really that was sparked the whole software group to go down. So you can see 3 days down. It did rebound 2 days now. We're still on this downtrend line. So we have to be careful that this is not a trap, because I was actually surprised by that news, and not only that, the market did react to it, and it brought a lot of the softwares down. But Thursday, Friday, it came back up like some of the other small cap, mid cap did. Let me just jump to IGV quickly here just to see where the software group is right now. So this is the software group, and you can see it's been building a long base here. It came up, and this was the nice run, and then it pulled back to 21 day. And then now it's trying to bounce back again. But again, we have started a downtrend. Whether this is a short-term downtrend, I don't know. So we'll watch for that trend line right here. See if it can come back above it. If it can, that'll be a good sign. If it's not, then I would expect it to come back to the 50-day line. And so this represents, like I said, more of the software guys. So something to watch out for. So on Tuesday, we have financial stocks outperform. Nasdaq stretches winning streak to 6 sessions, even as software stocks struggle again. Wall Street Digest comments from the Federal Chair Jerome Powell. S&P 500 closed near session lows, mark a stalling session. right? So it kind of consider a distribution day. And then we have some stocks here that are getting hit, like Restaurant Group, and MMYT was the outlier here. So let's take a look at those stocks. So MMYT is definitely one of the strongest leaders, and it's based on India market. And so make my trip here. So on Tuesday you see this bounce right here, really nice breakout. So this is doing really well, and then it pulled back again on Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday morning it bounced back up and closed at the top. So looks pretty good. Just to show you, this is my new list based on July 4th in terms of performance at 4% since that day. So it's ranked 241. So it's not it's very strong, but it's okay. So I just want to show you. If you want to follow my next video after this market recap, we'll be talking about my top 50 list here and what's happening in all the stocks going that's showing strength. So this is MMYT. We're gonna look at the restaurants group, but really hit hard this week. Cava is one of them. You can see now it's down 5 days in a row. This is a very sharp downtrend. And look at it, there's no bounce around the 50 days, so that's scary right here. So that's yeah, that's not good. And let me see what other stocks here. Bros, CMG. Yeah, so let's take a look at those Bros. So Bros also went down hard right here, but then it kind of found some support and bounced back. So we're still on a very sharp downtrend. So let's see what happened here. Then we have CMG. So here, this one has been coming down. This is the weakest of of most of this stocks in this group, and it has been coming down for a while now. So we have this huge run, and then now it looks like we want to hit 200 day. We have Wing also are in a downtrend right now. You can see there's no support at the 50 day, and then it just keep going lower. And Texas Roadhouse, this one's holding up better than most of them. At least they found some support at this level, but we're still in a downtrend. So Nasdaq continued to lead the market with 1.2% increase on Wednesday for its 7th consecutive record closing high. The 7-win streak is the longest in more than a year. So on Wednesday it's starting to look pretty extended now. And then S&P rose 1%, also 6th record close. 7-day win streak will be the November 8th streak there. And Dow Jones and small caps also came up on Wednesday. So that's a good sign. So now Nasdaq is near 9% above its 50-day average, the widest gap since June of last year. So that's like really extended. Volume rose that day, and then advances also improved. MYT gained by 5-to-2 ratio. So yeah, so Apple became the first stock to hit a market cap of 3.5 trillion. So let's take a look at Apple here. So you can see it keep climbing, really strong chart action. Thursday, we haven't got to Thursday yet, but it was the really bad day for tech stocks, especially Mag 7 and chip stocks. Anyhow, it did come back, strong rebound Friday. Yeah, this is now, let's see, 3.535 trillion. So obviously, a lot of investors bang on the cycle of people renewing their phones, especially with the AI stuff coming this season. So Apple is definitely leading in that sense and doing really well right now. You can see this is a long base right here, and it broke out, and it's been climbing since then. Really sharp angle too. So definitely showing lots of strength. Even like I said, even on Friday. Let me just look at intraday chart. You can see the Thursday drop, and the halfway mark was right here, and you can see it climbed pretty much right at the open. And it did close weak, but many tech stocks did close weak, but it's still above the halfway mark. Looks pretty good. Yeah, lots of strength, you can tell. So So Nvidia, again, did really well because Taiwan Semiconductor report robust June sales. So Nvidia, yeah, let's look at Taiwan Semiconductor first, because that guy reported June sales and on Wednesday, and you can see it kind of closed at a new closing high. It didn't make a new high. Thursday morning it kind of came up a little bit, but it reversed because of Thursday's sell-off on the tech side. And then Friday it kind of closed in the middle range. So this one is still holding pretty tight. Again, because they announced the June sales number, people are they're reporting in like this coming week, and so people are hoping that they're going to report good numbers, right? So that's the reason it's holding up so strong. So let's come back to Nvidia. You can see we have this top right here. It was a clear top from this run. It's probably like say around 30-something%. And then we have this sharp pullback, and then we're starting to slowly rebound here. And you can see we came close to the previous high in terms of closing high here, not the intraday high. And it kind of pretty much, that was a rejection there, and also the timing with the market sell-off on Thursday. And we had a sharp drop back all the way to the 10-day. And then on Friday, I mean, this is a very weak bounce to me. It didn't even close near the halfway range. So if we go look at the intraday chart, we have this sharp downturn, and right here is about the middle mark, and and you can see that was rejected near the end of Friday, and then it went down right now. So overall, it's a very weak bounce. Yeah, so we have this nice uptrend here, and then now we kind of on a downtrend trajectory now. So we'll see what happens next week, but I'm not too optimistic, especially we've seen two rejections, one rejection here at the high, and also the bounce is so weak, so that's too negative to me. So yeah, so we might come back to the 50-day and challenge this low right here. That will shake a lot of people out, and especially if we break 50-day or come back to even 100 level, near that level, that will shake a lot of people out. And then we have Tesla extend to 11 sessions on Wednesday. So we have this nice strong run right here, right? And we even passed the 265 mark right here on this base. And this was a trap in a way, right? Like then we have this one big drop on Thursday. I believe it was down like significant, like 6% or something, 8%. Wow. 8%. And then we have Friday bounce again. Generally for a trend, you want to look at the halfway mark. So how much did it recover? So this is the drop, and it bounced back around halfway mark, and that was it. It couldn't go past it. So again, this it didn't drop as much as the other guys did at the end of the day, so that's a positive. But the fact that it couldn't pass the halfway mark also is a negative. So we'll see. The downtrend has formed. So it looks like a very sharp downtrend. So I have to be careful on this because this is a very sharp. Of course it could bounce over it pretty easy too. So we'll see what happens. The reason it sells so much on Thursday was also because of the delay in the robot taxi move. Was that on Thursday or Friday, Senor? I don't remember now. I think it was Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the reason like it was so hard that day too. So another sector that's getting hit hard is the footwear group, Deckers, Crocs, Skechers, on. So let's take a quick look at those guys. So this is like it's good to always study not just stocks up but also stocks down, because you want to learn how they trade. You can see this is the downtrend line, and it has accelerated, right? Because it went as far as from here to here, right? Away from the moving average, and so then we see this bounce. So it could be the end of this correction. There's a high chance because it has basically trip out a lot of people. It went into the previous base too, like this is really deep into the base. So even the people who bought here are all kind of could be trip out now. So usually from a long-term perspective, you know, we have base, right, and then base, and then short base here. So it generally, you know, it comes back. You don't usually come back to the previous base. They might be, you know, like this one slightly above the previous base, but this one actually came back down into this base. So that usually is you know, it will trip out a lot of people, because people get scared and like, whoa, how come I invest in this and they came all the way back or even below it, right, depending where you bought it. So we'll see. So that's Deckers, and then look at Crocs. So this one, again, they're all in downtrend. Again, same thing here. You can see it went into the previous base as well. Skechers. This one is bouncing not too bad. You can see it tried to come out on Friday, but it closed at the bottom side. But this one looks better because it didn't even come back to the previous buy point. So it found some support right here. So that looks pretty good. On. Okay, so this one also look, you know, not doesn't look the best still. You can draw a trend line right here. It has found some support. Again, this is the previous base level, so looks good. Yeah, so we'll see. Again, if it bounce above the trend line, might be a good potential here. So on Wednesday, we also have some biotech, semiconductor, mining stocks on the buyer side. AEM, we'll talk about that in my video for stocks, how to trade top stocks. Also doing well, broke out that day. MBIX, another one that's doing well, also did well there. So Cava, Chemical, Cabana, and GE Aerospace flash buy signals. We already talked about this. Software group. Oh yeah, another guy that's kind of under pressure is CrowdStrike in the software group. So a lot of people have shared this stock, including me. And it was trading really tight after it broke out, which is kind of weird. Normally it hold tight for a week or less than a week and a half, and then it will come out more. But this one, like, it just went sideways for 3 weeks and did nothing, and then it fell here. But again, you know, so if you're a short-term trader, you're probably out. But it hasn't damaged the chart too much. But it is on a downtrend now, so I would be careful. It's not a big downtrend, but it still could accelerate, right? You don't know. So again, because of earnings season coming up, they could react more drastically, you know, if one stock in the same group don't do well. So be aware of that. The other thing is RSP rose, and yeah, let's talk about it right now, because I think it's a good segue to talk about it, because they did. So this is Wednesday. So Wednesday it was climbing even before Thursday's broadening on the equal weight. So this is Nasdaq QQQ 100, and you can see this breakout right here. We talked about this last week on Friday, and then Monday and Tuesday it went down slightly. Like, look at how tight that is, and then Wednesday it make new high, like, even though the volume didn't come in. And then Thursday was the big drop, but look at Thursday, it actually jumped in the morning quite significantly before it pulls back. And then Friday, we make another high again and close in the middle. So let's go in the intraday. So here you go, we have this nice jump here on Wednesday, and then Thursday we gap up, and then before it come back down, and again, it didn't even come back to the halfway mark. And then Friday, gap up again and keep going. And then before the last hour and a little bit, it came back again, not even the halfway mark. So this is very, very good progress, right? It's not giving up much. So this is telling us that the underlying Nasdaq 100, the broader stocks, the majority of them are going up. So, you know, so even though we saw, like, you know, some of the stocks like CrowdStrike or ServiceNow under pressure, but there's a lot of other areas that are starting to expand, especially in the smaller caps. So we'll see some of those in my stocks to trade stocks video later, but make sure you follow that. So we'll talk more about that. But right now this is looking good. And then the biggest story is the S&P equal weight. So this is RSP, and And this one, you know, again, you make two strong day, Thursday and Friday, and Wednesday it was also up, right? And that was but the Thursday was the breakout here. So even though this came out a little bit before after the Nasdaq equal weight, but this one is looking strong as well. Like the move is significant, like two gap ups right here. So, and also because this is 500 stocks, that means, you know, even more stocks are expanding as well in breadth. And we'll see some numbers later when we look at some stats. So we're only on Thursday. Lots of things happening this week. Mega caps and hot chip plays, Nvidia, Taiwan Semiconductor, Tesla suffered big losses. Dow Jones gained 0.1%, so this one continued to bounce. S&P lost 0.9%, and Nasdaq saw off 2%, largest one-day decline since April 30th. Russell outperformed, and this was the big one, 3.6% advance, just shy of a new high. Volume rose sharply on the Nasdaq and MYT, so that resulted in new distribution days. 10-year Treasury yield dropped to 4.19%, lowest close since March. Overall consumer price index unexpectedly dipped 0.1% versus forecast of 0.1% increase. And then the 12-month CPI fell to 3% from 3.3% in May. The core CPI, stripping out while food and energy prices, rose 0.1% versus May levels, which is 0.2% forecast. 3.3% core CPI, down from 3.4% May, undershot 3.5% expectations. The core CPI inflation rate peaked at 40-year high 6.6% in September 2022. So that was the big news on the inflation front. So the consumer inflation keeps cooling, right? So you can see here right now, June core CPI is negative 0.1%. Sorry, the regular CPI, and then the core CPI is just 0.1%. So you can see it drop a lot, and then on the yearly change you can see it drop to 3.3%. Excluding energy, you can see it's also dropping to 5.1%. So it's doing really well. And look at the CME futures of the interest rate. You can see here no change, 93% in July. We go to September 18. This is probably the biggest change this week. It's now the 90% thinking the market thinks 90% will increase, it will decrease rate by a quarter point. So that September rate cut really spurred the small caps. Now this is the Russell chart. It's not a very pretty looking chart. It's a very ugly chart. But here's the bigger trends, and we have now take off again. So this is probably the biggest thing that happened this week, is how not only climbed back above 2100, but it also make a new high, for the, since a long time. Like, this is 2138, we're now at 2148. So the previous high is right here. So we could march to here, right? If this rally continues, and this idea that Fed's gonna cut rate, this will spur, the small caps, and this is a long, like this is, like I say, a very ugly chart. And now we are past this level here, which is in the top half here. We could head back to the previous high pretty fast here. So that's what I'm hoping for. So that is Russell. If we go to the mid cap, let's see here. I'll just use the ETF here. MDY small cap, mid cap. This one is already hitting new highs previously a while ago, and then it kind of fall back into this little base here, and now it's trying to come out again. So yeah, if you draw this trend line, it kind of came out on Friday, and then the traditional would be here. So yeah, it looks very good. So yeah, if the mid caps, small caps participate, it really making the breadth much wider. I'll just quickly do Nasdaq as well. You can look at QQQ for example. So yeah, we have this top here on Wednesday, Thursday, sharp drop, so Friday it didn't close really well. So it's now we have this downtrend, right? So we'll see how it behave around here. And then we have SPY, S&P. It did make a new high on Friday, and it did close in the middle, so slightly better than Nasdaq. So I don't know. This sharp drop is a little bit scary at the end. So again, we are at the slightly near the halfway mark. So it's looking like a bit better. So I'm going to jump to the breadth here. So probably the biggest thing that I see happening right now is this accumulation advanced decline line, 100,771 and 535 down, 1,771 stocks up. And you can see the last 3 days, Wednesday to Friday, the S&P breadth has taken off in a very fast pace as well, not just, you know, really slow. This is a very sharp angle. And Nasdaq, surprisingly, also showing same strength, also very sharp angle. So the breadth is taking off. Hopefully will continue. And we had something similar right here. Eventually it kind of just cooled down and didn't go nowhere. But this one is making new high. This one hasn't made new high. Obviously it's near the bottom because Nasdaq has been very weak. But like I said, if the breadth continues to strengthen, then we now have a broad market rally, and while the mega caps and some of the chips area might just consolidate a little bit here, hopefully going sideways and not come down too much. So that's what's happening. So on Thursday we have gold stocks, healthcare, biotechs. Yeah, biotechs are really strong. We'll talk more about that. Gold stocks as well. Healthcare also doing well. Financial, those 4 areas are doing really well. Those are, you know, possibly rate sensitive stocks area, and housing, utility, consumer stocks also benefit from that. And we'll talk more about this in stock video. AEM, CRS, even GE, KVH, they're doing well. So we have some significant numbers here. So Nasdaq is 18,000. So let me just jump to that to see where it is now. So 18,283. So we passed this 18,000. So we'll see if it does come back to 18,000, how it reacts around that area. And then we have S&P at 5,500. So this one is still quite far away. But if it does come back around here, you want to watch how it behave around that area. And then we have Dow, which is, so this was a big deal for Friday. It did close a smidge above 40,000. So basically making new highs. This was a good day for Dow. Yeah, and again, industrials are strong. Like, we'll look at those stocks as well in my follow-up video. But you know, it did close, you know, halfway mark on the day. So on Friday, the bulls could breathe a sigh of relief. The equities of most sizes and shapes gained ground. And then we have all the major index up that day. Consider the sharp losses on Thursday. The rebound signified fund managers immediately took advantage of the dip to buy shares. And obviously, small cap Russell hit new multi-year high, fueled by Fed rate cut hopes. And small caps blast 3.6% on Thursday, jump additional 1.1%. And small cap benchmark not only gap higher at the open for a second day in a row, it rallied 1% for third straight session. So this is almost like to me, this is almost like a follow through day for the small caps. Yeah, big chart. Okay, so yeah, so the Russell makes its highest weekly close. And again, we talk about advances leading decliners as well. Rotation is one of the essential nutrients for durable stock market rallies. One sector, after going on a bullish run, passes the baton to another sector. The banking sector is one of them, and KRE soared 8.7% for the week. Was the best weekly advance since November 3rd, 2023. And then after that big week, it also ran higher for 4 of the next 6 weeks. So let's look at KRE, because this is probably one area where money is going into. So here's the big run base here, long base. We had this run here, and it broke out on Thursday. So if you don't want to invest in individual stocks, this would be a good ETF to invest for banks, right? In the regional banks, which are mostly small caps. On the big picture here, you can see we haven't done well for a long time. We had this rally last year, and then it kind of fizzled out, and then we had this long base, and now we're coming out. So KRE looks pretty good. So XLV also went 2% higher. So that's the healthcare. So let's take a quick look. So here we have the long base here. We have this uptrend. Didn't really go too far. Then it formed another base, and now it looks like it's trying to come out. So on, you can see the volume also pick up. So that's good. And here we are. Very choppy chart again. And we have this strong run right now, very strong steep curve, and the healthcare is very wide, lots of stocks, and also many small cap biotech stocks, which also seems to be leading now. So that's in a list of stocks we'll look at also on this trading stocks video. So as artificial intelligence data center grow, so does the need for electricity. Hence the 4.2% rise this week. Yeah, so let's take a look at the chart. So here's XLU utility, and you can see we have this long, really strong uptrend here, and then we fall back and we build this base, and it looks like it's trying to come out right now. So probably, I should pay attention to this too. The other thing related to this is IBD had an article this week on the front page talking about big data's power surge. How some of the players are playing, the need for power. And let me just go to there's some stocks here, most of them not on my list, but I'll just highlight them quickly here. So AI data center. Also looking at a lot of nuclear option. So there's Constellation Energy, Vistra, Public Service Enterprise, Curtis Wright. So there's quite a lot here. So yeah, something to look into. Because if you missed the last run right here, this could be a new run here. So some of the other area that did well was housing. Saw big gains. So that we'll look at some of those stocks as well in the next video. And then even some area, like some oil and gas machinery area also doing well, like Weatherford. Top build related to housing, Appfolio in the tech area, Penson also in buy areas. Next week we have more earnings coming out, and the earnings season has started. Netflix, Taiwan Semiconductor, ASML, so those two will affect chip areas. And then we have Goldman Sachs related to financial. I think last Friday the earnings on some of the banks like Citigroup and I can't remember, Wells Fargo, they were mixed, I think, and JP Morgan. Wasn't as good as people thought, that's for sure. Okay, so I think we look at some of this. Let's quickly look at 0TNX here, the 10-year yield. I think this is the big story. We talk about this downtrends continue, and now we might be hitting new lows now, so that will spark more, and we talk about this, how the small caps hasn't reacted, even while this was going down, and then Thursday, when the inflation come out, people now think the Fed has to act, right? Versus before they didn't know for sure whether they will act. And also Jerome Powell mentioned this week that, you know, in his testimonial, that now he has to consider unemployment rate as a risk, not just inflation anymore. So now he has to balance those, right? So also that gives him another reason. Basically, he's trying to foreshadow that they might start to act soon. So that's also another reason why the market finally say, hey, you know what, we believe this is going to happen now. So that sparked the, you know, the breath in the marketplace, because, you know, the small and mid caps, a lot of them hasn't performed well, especially the small caps. And then now they're taking off. So let's just quickly look at the US dollar. So this is also going down because they're going to start cutting rates to, you know, so it's kind of, yeah, it was a big gap down too on Thursday, and then Friday continued that. So it looks like the dollar is weakening due to this. Yeah, the oil price is very stable, holding up pretty tight here. So I assume oil and gas stocks might continue to do okay. And then what do we have? Gold. Gold stocks are really strong. You can see how well it holds. It doesn't even want to come back to the 10-day. It's just very strong. I would say that is another area to watch. Then we can look at some other one. Copper, PR. This one is not as strong as gold. And then we have silver. Silver is okay. Again, gold is still the strongest. So IBD, you know, signal is still marking confirmed uptrend. This week overall, we have Nasdaq started off strong, continue this rally, and then we have this one-day distribution on Nasdaq S&P on Thursday, and then Friday again we have bounce back, and small caps and mid caps continue to rise. And we can see the numbers here make a significant change here. So starting Wednesday, there's way more accumulation in stocks versus distribution. Then we also, on the industry group side, we also see more rise in different groups than going down. Overall, on the sector side, you can see technology, you know, start to rise by the end of the week. And then retail came in on Thursday, Friday. Industrials start to rise significantly. You can see pretty big numbers here. And then health also rising steadily. And then we have commodities also rising. And then financial, the heavyweight here, 140 stocks. So this is net accumulation minus distribution. So this is the net number. So there's way more stocks. So financial is definitely the strongest, and then followed up by industrials, and then retail and health. So those four areas are what's really driving the broad gains here and behind the scene. So we're just finishing up with the mega cap stocks here. So SMH is the semiconductor group, and you can see very similar to NVIDIA chart. We have this top here, and then we kind of came back to that top and got rejected, and now we kind of on this downtrend mode. So beware of that. We might see a big bounce, and that will clear this. So we already looked at NVIDIA, very similar chart, but let's just jump to other ones like ARM. ARM is holding pretty good. You can see, but it's you know, yeah, it's holding better than other stocks, I would say, and it's near the previous buy point here. So that's that. AMD. AMD is surprisingly also holding up well. Like it didn't, you know, Thursday, Friday, look at that. It didn't want to come down to the 10-day line, which is not usual. Especially consider this AMD stock has been riding the 10-day for so long right here. So the fact that it doesn't want to touch the 10-day lines tells me this has strength behind it, which is also good news for the chip area, meaning there's some strength. Let's look at Qualcomm. And this one is a little bit weaker, right? There's some stocks that are this, you know, like Cyrus. This one, look at this one, still going, hitting new highs right here. Unbelievable stock. So just riding the 10-day, hasn't broke the 10-day in a long time. And then we have PI, Impinj, also trying to come out right now. So this one also looking pretty good. Here's the base. So there's lots of other stocks still doing okay in the chip area. So the Microsoft doesn't look as good. You can see Thursday, Friday, not much bounce after Thursday's drop. So again, downtrend line is forming, and pretty strong slope too. So I would be careful here. So this, I always look to some leadership, and Microsoft, which is a big area in the software group, definitely not a good sign for that group. Let's look at Meta. Meta also took a hit. I don't know if there was any news on this stock, but it dropped a lot more, even on Friday. Do you know, Sunil? Yeah.
No, nothing that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So this, even dropped below this trend line on the previous base. So this is very negative. So that's also not good. Then we have Amazon. This one also holding tight, and also now it's at 21 day. Again, Friday rebound is what I'm looking for, and look at how weak those guys are. And Google, same thing. Look at the rebound here. So I think the mega caps has more room to go in terms of downward pressure. It just don't look very good at all. So that's it for the big guys. Then we have just Tesla. The Tesla, we already kind of talked about this a little bit. Yeah, again, the bounce, it looks strong, but it's coming from a weak position, right? So it's not even halfway mark of the previous day, right? And then we have Netflix. So even Netflix, right, which is holding so strong. Again, I talked about this last week, how I didn't like the progress it's making, really slow. And then now it fall back so fast. Again, this is also don't look good. So none of the big caps are looking good right now, and that could also signal, again, I don't know how much more selling there will be, but it doesn't look like it's near over, because just the rebounds on Friday, I expected to at least rebound half, and most of this didn't. So yeah, please, if you like any of this video, please like and subscribe, and then we'll do you don't want to miss out on the next list on how to trade the top 50 stocks, because that list is now completely different. So yeah, stay tuned.